This is Dan Wickwire here. In this session, I'll be talking about question number 24 in my book, 200 Questions About the Bible and the Quran. The 24th question is this: should a holy book have a felt need to repeatedly deny that it is from Satan? The Bible would say no. The Quran would say yes. Look at in the Injil, Matthew chapter 7, 15 to 18. Jesus said this: beware of false prophets. You will know them by their fruits. Every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Let's think about this verse and relate it to Muhammad and the Quran. If we look at the life of Muhammad as it's revealed in the Quran and in Islamic sources, we see that he condoned kissing the black stone. The black stone was an idol, and you can see this in Baqarah 2, 158 and Najm 53, 19 to 20. And yet this sort of thing is forbidden in the Bible. Look at sexual aberrations. These are condoned. Muhammad forced slave girls to have sex with him, and he condoned having sex with concubines and slave girls. This is in Nisa 4:24. He condoned this sort of action. He also, Muhammad was guilty of stealing his son-in-law, his adopted son's wife, Zainab, and then he took her and married himself, and saying, God made me do it. You can see this in Azab 33, 36 to 37. Muhammad had multiple wives. There are 24 that we know of that he officially married. He married Aisha when she was 6 years old, and he consummated the marriage when she was only 9 years old. In Turkey, this would be a huge crime. Muhammad had multiple wives, up to 24 that he officially married, and then he also divorced two of them, Fatima Venesha. And in Malachi 2:16, the Bible says that God hates divorce. However, Muhammad allowed it and did it himself, and you can see this in Baqarah 2:29. Also, Muhammad allowed, there are records in the Hadith where Muhammad allowed men to beat their wives, and also in Nisa 4:34. Also, Muhammad threatened to kill anyone who left Islam in Nisa 4:89. And you can see examples of this in the Hadith in Bukhari, Volume 9, Book 84, number 57 to 58. Muhammad ordered 19 people to be murdered. You can see this in my compendium, the Wickwire Compendium of Islam, section 29, and pages 700 to 717. You get the details on all 19 people that he had murdered. What about thievery? Enfal 8:1. Muhammad took 20% of the spoils of war and pocketed it for himself. And he also instigated multiple wars of aggression. You can see these wars that are listed: 8 major battles, 100 plus expeditions, and 29 of this which Muhammad participated in personally. And you can see this in my Wickwire Compendium of Islam, section 2929. And jihad is the largest subject in the Quran. There are 155 verses in the Quran, and I've written a book on this subject. Here it is. This is called An Outline of Jihad in Islamic History. It covers the complete history of Islam, and it covers all of the multiple wars that Muhammad instigated. These are aggressive wars. My Hoja Atai Hoja, one time in class, doctoral class in Islamic theology, he said this: wherever you find Islam, you find nothing but a trail of blood and tears. Well, is this good fruit or bad fruit? The Bible says in Matthew 7, that, beware of false prophets. You'll know them by their fruit. Well, if you look at the fruit of Muhammad's life, there are questionable things about it, which I just shared. Matthew 24:11 says this: then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. And Jesus said in John 8:42 and 44, he says, I proceeded forth and came from God. You are of your father, the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. And as I mentioned before, Muhammad instigated, he ordered for 19 people to be murdered. All of this you can see in the compendium in section number 29.32, pages 700 to 717. Look now, and when you look at the wars, the jihad that Muhammad had instigated, in Enfal 8:17, it says this concerning that. You slew them not, but Allah slew them. And you, Muhammad, did not throw when you threw, but Allah threw, that he might test the believers by a fair test from him. So Muhammad is, obviously guilty of killing a lot of people, instigating a lot of wars, and yet he's avoiding responsibility for this by saying God made me do it. And yet, when you look at the Bible, in James chapter 1, it says this, let no man say, James 1:13 and 14, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth death, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. And then in chapter 4 of James, verses 1 and 2, it says this, from where come wars and fightings among you? Come they not here, even of your lusts that war in your members? Ye lust and have not, ye kill and desire to have, and ye cannot obtain, and fight and war, and yet ye have not because ye ask not. So the Bible condemns lusting after war, lusting after the spoils of war, and this sort of thing. Here are a few verses from the Qur'an that talk about Muhammad and the Qur'an. Has it not ever occurred to them that their compatriot is no madman? Now, the question I want to remind you is, should a holy book have a felt need to repeatedly deny that it is from Satan? The Quran is full of these kind of maneuvers to get away from those kind of charges. Has it not ever occurred to them that their compatriot is no madman? That's talking about Muhammad. Nal 1698. When you recite the Quran, seek refuge in Allah from Satan, the accursed. In other words, there's something dark about that, and you need to avoid it. You need to pray that a demon won't get on you. Sebeh 34:8 and 46. He has invented a lie concerning against Allah, or is there in him a madness inspired by a demon? Say unto them, O Muhammad, there is no madness in your comrade. So again, Muhammad is being accused by the Jews of being a crazy man or a madman, and he's saying, no, I'm not crazy, I'm not mad. Tur 52:29. By the grace of Allah, you are neither a soothsayer nor a madman. Najm 53:2-4. Your companion Muhammad is neither in error, nor is he deceived, nor does he speak out of caprice. This is no other than an inspired revelation. Tekvir 81:22 and 25. No, your companion, the prophet, is not mad, nor is this Quran the utterance of an accused Satan. So the Jews are saying, hey, this is demonic, and he's saying, no, it's not. You notice that Muhammad in the Quran frequently expressed the felt need to deny that he was a madman, what they call a jannah, or a demon, a jinn, possessed by a jinn. You can see these kind of accusations in many places: 15:6-7, 23:70, 37:36, 44:14, 51:52, 50-52, 68:51, 69:40-43, 17:88, and 26:210-211. These are a few of the other places in the Quran where you'll find Muhammad trying to get away from the charge that he's crazy or that he's a madman. So the question is this: should a holy book have a felt need to repeatedly deny that it is from Satan? No in the Bible, but yes in the Quran.